Hi, it's Rich from Marvelous Ministries. My thought consuming me today is about Philippians 3:13 through 14. Paul wrote this, and I used to think what he said in this, which is forget what is behind and reaching forward for that which is ahead. I used to think it was Paul not thinking about all the hideous things he did when he was Saul. And today, as I just had this brought to my mind, I was just praying that God would reveal what he wants me to speak about today. Not just sharing about what's in my heart and what I'm going through in my walk, which is what I've been doing recently, but this one was something specifically that he changed my understanding and my belief of what this is. And I think it pertains to the old nature and the new nature. And there's verses elsewhere that talk about that. See, if Jesus has called you out of this fleshly, worldly kingdom to enter his, he has called you to himself. He wants you to forget the old kingdom. He wants you to forget the old nature. He wants you to not look back at that. Because he's lifting you above that kingdom. He's lifted you to a better kingdom rule from heaven to be ruled by God's Spirit. And so I see it totally different now. I see it as we come to Christ, and how many of us still live the same way? We don't take off the filthy rags and put on the new, clean, holy garment. No, we keep wearing the same old filthy rags. And we let that be our identity. See, Jesus gave Saul a new name because he gave him a new identity. He said, you are no longer Saul, you are now Paul. And I will use you and I will work through you to call more people to himself, to Jesus. Imagine if we didn't have the New Testament and we lived under the Old Testament. If we didn't have God's new commandments. First, to love him above and before anything else. Second, to love your neighbor as yourself, or I put it, to love all God's creation. So put on the new nature. Press on and reach for your new life in Christ. Make yourself available. Change your focus from your past way of living, worldly rule and kingdom, to his rule and kingdom. Jesus, lead me. I will follow. I hope and pray this helps somebody today who is maybe just going through the motions. Before I was a Christian, my parents would bring me to church. And I hated it because the churches we went to were dead and empty. It was just people talking. There was no love. There was no spirit. It was just a building of dead men's bones. That was my perception as a child. It wasn't until I finally went to a home church, nothing like my parents would have taken me to. And that was probably 14 years, 15 years after last time I went to a church. And it was nothing like I remember church being. I said a prayer to a God I didn't believe in yet. I said, God, keep my heart and mind open to what's going to happen tonight. So I don't know, something was different. And I walked out of that home church and I dragged my chin all the way to the car going, what in the world was that? because God revealed His Spirit to me. I felt His presence. And so it began. But even then, the enemy has ways to keep you from letting go of the past and pressing on to what Jesus has for you in Himself. Thanks for watching. This is Rich.